So you watched part 2, and you learned why your brain treats a broken coffee maker like a natural disaster when you're alone. You understood the psychology. You nodded along. And then this morning, your internet went down for 20 minutes and you still had a full panic attack. Which brings us to the real question: how do you actually reset when you're in the middle of losing it? I'm going to show you the 3-step help reset that mental health professionals are using in 2026. It's not meditation or breathing exercises, though those are fine. This is about rewiring your brain's threat detection system when you're completely alone and spiraling. Because here's what nobody tells you about the loneliness epidemic. The World Health Organization's 2025 report found that loneliness kills over 871,000 people annually. That's 100 deaths every hour. And before it kills you, it makes every small problem feel like it's going to end your world. Step 1 is called the reality anchor. And it starts with asking yourself one specific question that therapists have been using since 2025. Not, is this a big deal? Your brain will lie to you. The question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how big will this problem be in exactly 1 week? Let me show you how this works. Marcus is a freelance designer. His laptop crashes on a Tuesday morning, and he's got a client presentation at 3 p.m. His brain immediately goes to, I'm going to lose this client, then all my clients, then I'll be homeless. Classic catastrophic thinking. But Marcus uses the reality anchor. In 1 week, how big is this laptop crash? Well, in 1 week, he'll either have fixed the laptop, bought a new one, or borrowed someone else's. The client presentation will be ancient history. Suddenly, it's a 3 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. The 1 week timeframe isn't random. Cognitive behavioral therapists discovered that most crisis-level emotions can't sustain themselves for more than 7 days without external fuel. Your brain knows this, even when your panic doesn't. Step 2 is the micro-action protocol. This is where most people mess up. They think they need to solve the entire problem right now. Wrong. You need to take exactly one tiny action that moves you toward a solution. Not the solution, just toward it. Back to Marcus and his laptop. The micro-action isn't fix the laptop or buy a new laptop. It's text my friend Jake who works in it. That's it. One text message takes 15 seconds, but it breaks the paralysis loop that keeps you frozen. Here's why micro-actions work when you're alone. Your brain's threat detection system, that amygdala we talked about in part 2, it calms down when it sees you taking action. Any action. It doesn't have to be the perfect action. A 2025 study from the University of Southern California found that people experiencing financial anxiety, which often leads to social isolation, recovered faster when they took one small financial action per day, rather than trying to fix everything at once. Step 3 is the connection bridge. And this is the step that separates people who stay stuck from people who actually reset. You have to externalize the problem by telling one person about it. Not for advice, for perspective. When you're alone, problems live entirely in your head. They bounce around in there, getting bigger and scarier with each bounce. The moment you say the problem out loud to another human being, it becomes external. It becomes manageable. Marcus texts Jake about the laptop, but he also calls his sister Emma. Hey, my laptop died and I'm kind of freaking out about this client thing. Emma doesn't need to fix anything. She just needs to hear it and say something like, that sounds stressful, but you'll figure it out. The connection bridge works because of something called social reality testing. When you're alone, your internal reality becomes the only reality. When you connect with someone else, you get access to external reality, which is usually way less catastrophic. Now here's where it gets interesting. The American Psychological Association's 2025 survey found that 69% of adults need more emotional support than they're getting, which means most people are actually hungry for these conversations. You're not bothering people when you reach out. You're giving them permission to be human with you. And that's something most people are desperately craving in 2026, even if they don't know how to ask for it. Let's put all 3 steps together. Reality anchor. How big is this in 1 week? Micro-action protocol. What's one tiny thing I can do right now? Connection bridge. Who can I tell about this? That's the reset. But here's the part nobody talks about. You have to practice this when you're not in crisis. If you wait until you're already spiraling, your brain won't remember the steps. Practice on small annoyances first, traffic jams, long grocery lines, minor work frustrations. Sarah, a freelance writer, started practicing the reset on tiny problems. When her coffee shop was closed, instead of letting it ruin her day, she'd ask, "How big is this in a week?" Then she'd find another coffee shop and text her writing buddy about it. 3 months later, when Sarah's biggest client suddenly canceled a project, she automatically used the reset. The problem felt manageable instead of world-ending. She updated her portfolio, reached out to 2 backup clients, and called her mentor for perspective. The reset works because it interrupts the isolation loop that makes small problems feel huge. You ground yourself in reality, you take action instead of freezing, and you connect instead of withdrawing. It's like having a panic button that actually works. And here's something that might surprise you. A 2026 study found that people who regularly used connection-based coping strategies were 3 times less likely to develop chronic anxiety, even when working alone. The reset isn't just crisis management, it's prevention. So here's your homework. Pick one small problem you're dealing with right now. Nothing major, maybe a delayed email response or a minor scheduling conflict. Practice the 3-step reset on it today. Reality anchor, micro-action, connection bridge. Remember Marcus with the laptop? He got the presentation done on Jake's computer, landed the client, and bought a backup laptop the next week. The crisis that felt world-ending on Tuesday morning was completely resolved by Friday. That's the power of the reset. In my next video, I'm covering something you've probably never heard of, connection debt, and why some people feel lonelier after socializing. It's counterintuitive, but it explains why networking events can make freelancers feel more isolated than staying home.